you ask questions. You find out what has truly happened. And to the extent that what you find out concerns you, you do something about it. But the system we're operating is that of impunity. No matter what happens, if you can get away with it, you ignore it. So essentially the message that we're sort of holding out to the public, because it's not only Nigerian government, it's also the Nigerian people. Because the people that died that day, the people that were killed, were Nigerians. So first and foremost, the message that we have for our country is that we should begin to redesign the way we do things. What happened on that particular day is unspeakable, is unforgivable. But that's not a way forward. We can express our horror, we express our disgust, we express our disappointment, but at the same time, we express words of hope. Because, well, here we are today, 50-something years later. Asaba is the capital of a state. If you go around the confines of Asaba, you would not know that what I'm talking about happened. Literally every Asaba man that was in the town was killed. Those who survived were those who had managed to either run away or those who had crossed over to the Niger. So as we reflect on that tragic incident, we have some words, painful words, to share with our country, our countrymen, that we should begin to love this country more. You cannot kill over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 innocent people and just walk away from the scene and not know that there are consequences. There are consequences to killing a human soul. And it's even more so when you're talking of a genocidal activity where there's a predetermined plan to exterminate people. Having said all that, on a very serious note, I think as our people have never seen this incident as something that the only way they can react or respond is only anger. It's revenge. There's no trace of that. But they keep wondering, are we worthless? Is it possible that these lives did not matter? How about the families who lost these people? How about the children they left behind? How about the societal, social consequences that follow from events of that nature? Shouldn't we be able to come back, show that the Nigerian government and Nigerian ruling elite understand what their responsibility is to their people? We're no longer discussing Nigeria, Biafra, and all those sad divisions of the past. We're talking about how we respond to national crisis, to national events. Should we treat it just on an ethnic basis? If it's something that happens in Asaba, it doesn't matter. If it happens in Ibadan, it doesn't matter. If it happens in Lagos, it doesn't matter. It matters wherever it happens. And it's that idea that every Nigerian life is worthy of notice. That is the only type of behavior or thought or approach that can bring this country back. So going forward, we'll continue to remember this day. As we said in the course of the symposium, there's a wonderful, significant cenotaph going up on that site. The idea is to construct, this is an idea of Asaba of Asaba, which we all embraced, to construct something very impressive that rises from the ashes of those people, rises high enough to be seen from every corner of Asaba. So to the question, what is that? That structure will tell you what it is, to tell his own story. I think that's probably one simple, dramatic way of a people remembering what happened on their soil. And having done that, there's also an appeal to the federal government that these things do not go away because you ignore them. They still have to come back to that question, interrogate it, investigate it, come up with some conclusion so that the people who have suffered, the Asaba community and the environs, can begin to make some sort of journey of, you can call it reconciliation, you can call it forgiveness.
Let me just come in. Let me cut you off here. Exactly what?
I'm not that persuaded by this idea of compensation, because to me, what money, whose money are they giving me? They're giving me my money. The federal government does not have any money. It has money contributed by the Nigerian public, of which I am one. I pay my taxes. So giving me my money for killing my people, of which I'm, sadly, as you know, my mom was killed there. She was the only woman killed on that day. How do you pay me for that? So what I want from them is something much more symbolic. They should show basic act of human contrition. And that can be demonstrated in so many ways. You can appoint a commission of inquiry. We want to know what truly happened here. When they make their findings, you publish it. You can now begin the journey of meeting the families, seeing what has happened to them, seeing the impact of this thing upon Asaba community. And the type of compensatory gesture that Asapu were asking for is something slightly more socially beneficial. Some have said, with some force, try and establish a university in memory of those people. Some said hospitals. But the most important thing is the desire of the federal government to show and to acknowledge that those lives matter, to show as our people that they are part of this country, that they remain part of this country, and that their contributions to national development matters.
Know the essence of this gathering today.
This is Asaba anniversary events. Every year, the people of Asaba through part, either at Obosowa, the clean grounds, or at the palace, and mark events to commemorate the massacre, the bliss of the greatest date in Asaba history, October 7, 1967. So this is the anniversary event, and we are very happy that it was led by the Royal Majesty himself, who had been, since he came back from the US, this is the first time he's addressing a press conference of this magnitude.
All right, so what message were you actually trying to...
What we are saying, carrying from our theme, Asaba, October 67, the consequences of silence. And if you look at what is happening now across the continent, West Africa, from Gambia to Adamawa to the Cameroons, the genocide contagion is spreading. The bloody genocide is spreading all across Africa because of the silence, the conspiracy of silence that carpeted the Asaba massacre. And after Asaba, because people were silent, they don't want to talk about it, Rwanda happened. In the case of Asaba, women, children were separated from the men before the men were shot because of their silence. Rwanda, when it happened, both women and men were slaughtered in massive numbers. Because of their silence following the massacre of Rwanda, they went to Darfur, Sudan. This time, not only men, not only women, not only children were massacred, donkeys, domestic animals were slaughtered. So, it is not good. The essence of this October 7 anniversary commemoration is to shout to announce to the whole world that Asaba can never be forgotten, can never be forgiven. Because in the case of singular murder, the legal system takes care of the criminal. He's hanged. One murder case, one man killed. As I define genocide to you, it's a premeditated plan, cold plan for a group to wipe out another group. And it's a crime against humanity. It's never forgiven. The justice process starts by identifying the perpetrators, putting them on trial. And once they are convicted, they suffer the perpetration of genocide. So it's not somebody telling me Christian ethics, Christian dogma, you must forgive. No. Your legal system says, do you forgive murderers? Once you kill somebody, you go to the gallows. One person. Now,
what's your message to Asaba people as they reflect on today, sir?
The message is that, please, with the success story that come up with NTA coming here, we are very pleased that even the younger generation who tend to forget, most of them don't even know where Obosowa is, the killing ground. With this media explosion and the Asaba addressing the press conference, and of course with the Ikemba designate in charge of programs, we are going to end up at Obosowa October 11th on Sunday.
Trying to pass out in a nutshell is that the genocide has to be settled once and for all by the federal government. There's no need to shine away from it. The spirits of the dead have to be settled because this is Africa. If you don't settle the spirits of the dead, they continue to haunt the society. That is one. Secondly, the families that have been affected by this massacre have to be settled, and that will require the government actually accepting that there was a default because there were rules of engagement and there were United Nations rules against genocide. If these have been violated, it's wartime, we agree, but the federal government has to accept that mistake was made. Then the families have to be compensated and apologized to. That's at the family level. Then at the community level, the Asaba people have to be settled. That's my message. Thank you.
Your name, please.
My name is Eze Isama, retired professor of political science from University of Ibadan.